Welcome to Lesson 5, the last foundation lesson before we move into Stage O2 services. The shell is where you spend 2 to 4 hours every workday, so anything we sharpen here pays back forever. We're covering 4 things: history tricks that turn a 3-week-old command into a 2-second lookup, the expansion patterns that replace fragile copy-paste, strict mode with set, EUO pipefail, and the 10 commands that handle 95% of operational diagnosis. By the end, you're a force multiplier at the keyboard. Start with history, because every command you've ever typed is already saved in Bashari history. You just need the muscle memory to reach it. Control-ER is the single highest ROI shortcut in Bash. Hit it, type a fragment, and you're pulling back a command from 3 weeks ago in under a second. Then there's the bang family. Reruns the last command, sudo, fixes the permission you forgot, and grabs the last argument so you stop retyping long paths. And the one config change that pays off forever. Set his time format in your Bashirk. Every command gets a timestamp, and your history quietly becomes a retroactive audit log on every host you touch. From history, we move to expansions, the other half of typing less. Parameter expansion alone replaces entire sed pipelines. Key you want host sent. Strips a domain suffix without spawning a process. Brace expansion creates 9 directories in one mkdir via Cartesian product and zero pads your SSH loops for free. Command substitution with cron-friendly nests cleanly, unlike backticks, so your backup file names become self-documenting. Learn these 5 patterns and your scripts stop being fragile string paste and start being actual code. Now, if expansions make scripts elegant, strict mode makes them survivable. Default bash plows through errors silently. A failed curl, an empty variable, a broken pipe, and the next line runs against garbage state. 18 characters fix that. Set UO pipefail plus IFS to a new line and tab, so file names with spaces stop fragmenting your loops. Add a trap for cleanup, brace default your env vars, quote everything, and run shell check on every save. That's 95% of bash bugs caught before they ship. With scripts hardened, let's talk about the daily vocabulary. These 10 commands carry roughly 95% of ops work, PS and LSOF and SS for seeing what's running and what's listening, find and grep for locating things on disk, awk and sed for reshaping text, JQ for JSON, zargs to turn pipes into batch jobs, and watch to keep an eye on changes. Memorize one-liner per row and you've got a toolkit that compounds every single day. The next 2 slides go deeper on find, grep, awk, sed, and JQ. First up, the investigation trio. Find locates files by any criterion you can name, size and time, permissions, ownership. And with delete it, acts in one pass, so respect that footgun. Grep goes inside the files. Recursive with R and I, context windows with B and A, and that double V trick strips, comments and blanks for instant config audits. AIC handles the columns, filter on status codes, tally IPs, sum a CSV field. Chain them with zargs and you've got find last hour's logs, grep for error, count per service as a single pipe. Next up, the mutation pair. Sed is your stream editor. The daily move is sed i's old new G, and when it matters, use iback so you've got a rollback for free. Switch the delimiter to a pipe when you're swapping paths, chain E flags for multi-pass edits, and lean on watch your data to strip comments. JQ is set for JSON. Pipe curl, kubectl, or Docker inspect through it to filter, project, and reshape API output without ever writing a parser. One rule that will save you: always run sed without first. Eyeball the diff, then commit. Now the plumbing itself, the glue that turns those small tools into one-liners. The pieces worth burning in, 2 to merge streams, and a dev null for cron silence, and T when you need to watch a build and keep the log at the same time. The real unlock is process substitution. MD lets you diff 2 SSH hosts or compare sorted lists without ever touching chunch TMP. Once that clicks, you stop writing throwaway files for everything. Which brings us to the shell itself. Your bash arc is the one config you touch 1,000 times a day, so it deserves real tuning. Aliases like G for get and K for kubectl shave thousands of keystrokes a week. Functions like mkcd and extract collapse multi-step rituals into one word. Then prompt command earns its keep. Current get branch in the prompt. A red cross when the last command failed. Push this file out via Ansible in less than 20, and every host you SSH into feels like home. Now the gotchas, 5 bash traps that have burned everyone at least once. Unquoted variables top the list. A file name with spaces becomes multiple arguments, and your CP clobbers the wrong file silently. Always quote and run shell check before shipping. Pipe failures hide behind exit code 0 unless you set pipe fail. Command substitution eats trailing new lines. Single brackets fail in surprising ways where double brackets are safer. And cron runs with a stripped path. So source your environment explicitly and pipe output to logger. Know these 5 and you'll debug other people's scripts faster than they wrote them. So that's lesson 05, and with it, stage 01 foundation is closed out. 6 for 6. History fluency, the 5 expansions, strict mode, the 10 command daily toolkit, deep investigation pipelines with find, grep, awk, sed, and JQ, plus pipes and process substitution. Each one compounds a few seconds saved per command, hundreds of times a day, across every server you touch. That's the force multiplier at the keyboard. Next up, stage 02 opens with LR6, system unit anatomy, where services live, how they restart, how they wire into journaled and C groups. Foundation is done. From here on, every lesson assumes you're fluent at the prompt, that history, expansions, strict mode, and pipes are muscle memory, not lookups. Stage 02 shifts the focus from your shell to the system itself. Services, units, dependencies, and the demons that keep boxes alive. Load up lesson 06 and let's get into systems.